Hi everybody, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to do a video just going through my fountain pen collection. Very small, but I've just started collecting and I'm loving learning everything. So I'm going to show two different writing samples, but I'll go through everything on a Rhodia grid pad, and then at the end I'll show you on another notebook as well. And I'm going to go in the order of the fountain pens of how I purchased them. So the first one I got was a Pilot Kakuno, and I got this in a medium nib, and this just has the cartridge in it. And so this is what it writes like. And that's in a medium. This pen is fantastic, really. I did a lot of research on people's recommendations for first fountain pens, and people recommended this one or the Lamy Safari. I like the idea of thinner lines, so I wanted to try Pilot, and I have to say for this pen in Australia costs around $20. It writes really smoothly. It's really simple to, I guess, set up and get working, which when you're just starting is great. It's got a cute little smiley face on it that shows you kind of the correct way to hold the pen. I have small hands, so I write with a lot of my pens unposted, but it's super comfortable, posted or unposted, not too heavy. So if you do have smaller hands like me, I think that's great. But really, this has been a fantastic starter pen. I've already gone through one cartridge and I'm on to my second, and I love it. I also have seen that they've actually just released a bunch of Kakunos in like colored transparent colors, which are super cute. And I think I want to get an all clear one to see the ink. So that's on the list. So the next pen in my collection is actually not one that I purchased, but this is a Lamy Safari in blue. This was actually gifted to my wife as part of a present. It originally came with a medium nib, but I purchased a 1.1 stub nib and put it on just to play around with the stub nibs. So there's a little bit of a purchase in there. So this is a Lamy So I'm really enjoying the stub nib. I liked the medium. It was a little bit too thick for me, I think, as I'm just getting the hang of fountain pens. This one I can write with posted or unposted, all Lamy's Safaris, post really well. I think this is also an excellent starter pen. I have to say I've got an All-Star as well, which I'll show in a minute. The Safari is definitely lighter than the All-Star, so between the two I find that this one I'll write with posted, but this one I'll write without the cap at all, just because it is that touch heavier. But Lamy Safaris are great. Come in, all different colors. I am interested to try the fine nib. I've got the medium, and then my All-Star is a extra fine. But I'm really loving the stub. Just trying to learn different handwriting styles and hopefully make my overall handwriting a bit neater. But as you can see, I'm still getting there. So after that, I tried the other probably most recommended beginner fountain pen, which is the Platinum Preppy, and I got that in black. This, again, for its price, I was so surprised at how smooth it writes. You can hear it a little bit, like it does have a little bit of feedback on the page. I actually find, like, I journal in a Stalogy. It's definitely louder on the Rhodia, I find, compared to the Stalogy. But for the price, a fantastic pen, absolutely fantastic. Really lightweight, secure, everything about it's great. And and you can see I've got a bit to go in the cartridge, but this is one I'm thinking I might try, and I've seen people, you know, clear out the cartridges and reuse them, and that's something I think I'll try with this one. So the next one I bought is a Lamy Al-Star, and this is in Cosmic. And if you live in Australia, I actually found this on catchoftheday.com, and they were having a massive sale on their All-Stars, but not all of them. But I just had a look, and they actually are still doing it. So this was usually on Catch of the Day for around $70, and I got it down on a price drop for $22.95, which for a Lamy Al-Star is fantastic. So I got this one in an extra fine. As I said before, I quite like writing with thinner lines, so I really wanted to try the extra fine. What I found with this pen is writing and talking at the same time is a bit tricky. So I first inked this up with, what did I ink it up with? I think I inked it up with Robert Oster Chocolate, and it wrote beautifully and really well. And then the next thing I put in there, I actually just put in the Lamy black cartridge, and I've actually found it's not as scratchy with the cartridge compared to, I guess, inking it up in a converter. So I'm not sure if it's just, you know, with the extra fine nib, if it just likes writing a touch wetter with its own ink. I don't actually mind the little bit of feedback, but if that is something that bothers you, I just have found a difference compared to other inks. I've put some other inks in this as well, but the Lamy cartridge is definitely one that I've found to be the wettest and had the least amount of scratchiness with that nib. That's that one. So then I stepped it up a little bit, I guess you could say, and I bought a Kaweco Classic Sport. This is in the green, which I just love, with the gold accents. This is in a fine nib. I know some people say, you know, there's issues, I guess, with consistency or inconsistency of Kaweco nibs. I only have one, but I absolutely love this pen. I love its weight, I love its feel, I think it's smooth, I love how it sits in my hand posted. I have nothing bad to say about this pen at all. I've had no issues with the nib. It writes beautifully, it wrote beautifully straight out of the box. So I definitely want to get more Kawecos, and I'm interested to see if I find the nibs to be inconsistent. But this, as my first purchase, has been fantastic. It's probably my favorite pen at the moment. I absolutely love it. So I just need to clear my throat. And then the last pen in my humble but loved collection is the TWSBI Eco in black. I got this in extra fine, and I really do like this pen. I find it the cap a little bit heavy, so I usually write with it not posted. This is inked with a purple. And this is in an extra fine. And similar to a lot of other people's experiences, fantastic pen, wetter than other pens. I'm trying to use this. I've been journaling, like long form journaling at the moment with my All-Star, but I'm trying every now and then to do a couple of pages in the TWSBI just to get in the habit of waiting a bit longer before turning the page, because it does, you know, because it's wetter, it smudges a little bit. So I've been trying to use it just to make sure I go, okay, just wait a few seconds before turning the page, to get in the habit of that, because I really do love the pen, love how it feels, love how it writes. I just, when I have been writing, I've been a little bit impatient and then smudged some words. So that is my collection as it stands. I have many lists on my computers, with other pens that I'm wanting to try. but I'm really loving what I have at the moment. I'll show you on another piece of paper. I was watching the Offstage Me or Mick's YouTube videos, and he did a YouTube video on low-cost fountain pen friendly paper. And there's one that he recommended, which is the Oxford paper. In the Oxford, notebook with the Optik paper. In Australia, I've found the ones that I found are through Officeworks, that they have these notebooks. I think they come in blue, black and red, and they were around $6 or $7, which is pretty good because you get quite a bit. And I've absolutely loved writing. I've been doing like practicing and things like this in this notebook. The paper is coated, smooth, but things just write beautifully on it, really, really beautifully. And there's just no bleed through and really not much ghosting at all. So for like, yeah, $6 or $7, I think it's absolutely a fantastic buy, and I'm so happy I found his video and was able to learn about this paper. So that's the pens on there. I just absolutely love it. I think it writes beautifully. The one other pen that I just wanted to show that I have in my collection, it's not one that I bought, it's actually one that I was gifted from my dad. And I'm actually wanting a little bit of help with this pen. So this is a Parker. I'm not sure if it's a Jotter or a Sonnet. So if you know and could help me identify it, that would be great. On the nib, it just says Parker. It needs a little bit of love, this pen. I don't feel confident enough to restore it. I want to learn a lot more, but you can see that the cap doesn't secure very well. I'll show you on the inside. It's got one of the bladder filler mechanisms. This pen my dad got for his 12th birthday. So my math might not be completely correct, and if he watches this video, he might be upset that I might be making him older than he is. But I think this pen is around 50 to 55 years old, which is pretty incredible. So it writes amazingly. It is so smooth. I think it's a broad nib. It just writes beautifully. But as you can see, the cap doesn't secure properly, but also I'm not sure if somewhere in the grip there's a micro crack, because if you fill the bladder, it's not that it leaks from the nib section, it leaks somewhere in the grip. And so you'll write, and then at the end of your writing session, pardon me, your finger will just be all inky, but I cannot work out where it's coming from. So I'm not really inking it up at the moment because you just end up really messy. But I would love to fix it because it's such a beautiful pen, and it obviously has, you know, a really beautiful meaning, and it's sentimental. And yeah, I'd just really love to make it work. So if you know anything about it or could help me identify what model it is, doesn't say anything on the top there. That's what the bottom looks like. I'll just show you. I'll just dip it into some ink to show you what it writes like, because I just think it writes beautifully. Let's see if I put enough ink on there. It is just so smooth. It's got a pretty thick line, so I think it might be a broad, or maybe a medium. I don't have any Parker pens, so I'm not sure what their line weights are like, but it is just silky smooth. It is such a beautiful pen to write with. So I really do want to work out how to fix it. But you can see when I just dip the nib into ink, writes beautifully. And I don't get any ink on my fingers. It's when I fill the bladder with ink that I get the leaking from somewhere, but I just can't see where from. So any advice, please let me know. It's a really special pen. I'm really lucky that my dad gave that to me. So this is the state of my current fountain pen collection. Just started, but loving the different pens that I've gotten so far. High on my list to get. I really love the Kaweco student pens. I think I want to get the 1960s one, the green. And I also would, I would love to get a Parker 51. I'd love to have some like vintage style pen, but I've been looking a little bit at the Jinhao and Win Sung pens as well. But I also am thinking about maybe, I don't know, do I get another TWSBI Eco or do I get a TWSBI Go to kind of see their version of the pocket pen, because I do really like the size. What do you guys think? Is there a pen that you think I should get next? Is anything from my list jumping out at you? What's your favorite pen? What's your favorite beginner pen? And then maybe intermediate. We're slowly getting a little bit better with fountain pens. Please let me know, comment below, and if you could like and subscribe also. Thanks for joining me today, and I definitely recommend, if you just want to do some practice and don't want to spend lots of money on a notebook, the Oxford Optik paper is a fantastic option. I will chat to you guys all again soon. I think I just found the crack in it, if you can just see it catching in the light there. Any tips or advice on how I can, I guess, change the grip section on this Parker? Just there. I was playing with it a bit and got some ink on me, and that would be exactly where I'm holding it. It writes beautifully, but yep, that's a crack. Is there any advice from anyone on how to fix this or restore it would be greatly appreciated.